Hello, good morning, happy Friday. Hopefully your week has been going. Oh, okay. Hello, Auth0. How are you doing today? We are continuing to work on the Auth0 authentication today. So I think we've got it to the point where we're trying to handle when we log back in again. You remember what we did right at the end. Right, parsing. We have to parse the cookie. So we have to get the cookies out. We have to parse the cookie, and then we're gonna get the state out of it. You're doing okay. You're having trouble compiling a Rust application in the cheapest Azure virtual machine you could find. Interesting. Okay, I've been able to do that. I've been able to compile into like one of AWS's like super cheap VMs. What's the CPU architecture? Sometimes that can cause weird issues, especially if it's like not one of the top supported ones by Rust. Okay, so yeah, we're trying to use this cookie library that we found to parse it. It's a burstable VM, so you don't think it lets you use everything. You're having out of memory errors. Oh, yeah. Let's see. I think I got that when I was trying to compile a really like a larger sort of like app on an older Raspberry Pi. Oh, but if it's a burstable VM. Okay. I wonder, is it giving you like really low memory, really low CEO with the chance of like, okay, we're gonna burst up if you need it, but then you're compiling something which takes more time. And it has to do really fast and doesn't have time to burst up and give you access to more. So therefore you get out of memory, and then you would get like more added to it. Can you, if the architecture is right, can you pre-compile yourself and then just put the binaries over onto it? That might work. Or use something like GitHub Actions to compile, or whatever the equivalent of GitHub Actions is on Azure. Some like CI/CD system for that. And then you could just have the executable on the VM and run it there. That might be very helpful. There's some form of credits form. You're not using it. Just switched over to a local VM to build it. Yeah. So that sounds like a good idea. All right, so I want to parse these cookies and like see if we can get the state out of them. Like specifically, we're trying to get the key out of like the parse cookies. So cookies. Now there's multiple cookies here. Oh, you were thinking last week you don't want to use the cookie crate. Last week. You're thinking yesterday. I know. Today is like just one of those days where it's like, oh man. I thought I got enough sleep. But it's Friday. Okay, so you're thinking I don't want to use the cookie crate. Or you're thinking I should just do this manually? Yeah, because like I am noticing like I don't think I'm necessarily getting that much value out of these. I think these are more for like creating cookies or parsing them from headers, which I'm not getting here. So I wouldn't be surprised. Or if there's another cookie crate that I can use instead, that could be helpful as well. Now, if this parse the cookies into the document.cookie just returns key value pairs, but parsing a cookie expects all the other options like same site. Oh, yeah, okay. So it expects like a full one. So document, okay, so I can get document.cookie to get all those. The cookies doesn't get them from the browser, it gets them from like headers. So it is expecting to be run on the server side. So like an Axum type thing. So that is a thing. Let me see about this. So if we have get cookie. Oh, MDN has an example for this. Hold on, let me take a look at this. Okay, so yeah, okay, so they're split. They're doing what I sort of like was starting to do on. So they split on semicolon, and then they're finding which row. Okay, which one starts with the key equals. Okay, and then they split that on equals and take the first one. Interesting. Okay, we can definitely do something like this. Okay, so we get the cookies out, and so if we want to try something like let cookie, maybe this is like just the value too. Probably just slice it from a fixed offset instead of the final split. Possibly, because we would know the key. The key would tell us how long it is, right? So we probably can slice it. Let's do this one at a time, like one thing at a time, and we'll sort of like go from there. So like our split cookies is gonna be equal to cookies dot split, and we're gonna split on semicolon space. Then let's oh yeah, definitely my brain is not flex. Okay, yeah, definitely my brain is not working quite as well as I was hoping it would today. All right, so then I want to collect into a vector of, I guess, string. Oh, I was thinking, like, what am I missing? That's what I'm missing. Okay, then collect a value of vex string cannot be built from an iterator over elements of type stir. Can I make this a stir? I can. Okay, so then in here we will glue console log split cookies. Oh, interesting. Okay, so the trait bound JS value from vex stir is not satisfied. Following other types implement trait from T. Oh, so it's a JS value. Oh. Okay, so. That's interesting. Okay. Oh, right, because okay, it has to be an actual string, not a stir. Interesting. Interesting. Because they don't know how to pull that in. Okay, so if I do that, you're able to build now, right? Yes. Okay, so here's our just more test value is one of them, and then we have this auth state is the other. Okay, great. So we have those two. So now it can search through each one to find which one starts with the key equals. Okay, so then I want to, before I collect, so after I split, I now want to find. We're gonna have, this is basically a key pair. So and I want the starts with this one. So key pair starts with, so okay. You can be a string, so a stir, a char, a slice of chars, or a function or a closure that determines if a character matches. Okay, so I want to, I guess we could just start with key, but I want to then append that with something else. So I wonder if I can do this. So I really want to say, start with key, and then equals. Now, you're going to return this option stir, because starts with returns. Okay, starts with returns a boolean, and find needs a predicate which returns a boolean. Okay, so it returns true or false. But then it returns an option because it may or may not have found it. So now I don't need to collect anymore. This is now just going to be an option stir. Okay, so we have none, and okay, yeah, so here's all the different ones we found. None in access token, none in scope, none in expires in, none in token type, none in state. So that none in state is what I'm really interested in. How many cookies do I have right now? I only have these two. I have the more test and that Auth0 state. Are these things where I'm pulling off from here? I think I have another log. And that might be happening from the auth callback. Yeah, here's these keys. So I'm gonna take that away just so that I'm only looking at this. Oh, well that's really good I did that because now I can see it found a none. So it did not find, okay, so it did not find the cookie. Well, that's not great. What if I just do starts with this key? Okay, so let's move our Google Console log into here. No, so it's not called state. The cookie that I'm interested in right now is this one right here. So its name, I don't know why I can't make that larger, is Auth0 underscore state. But let's okay, let's Google console log. Okay, let's put the key in here. And let's also put the key pair. And let's just say false. Just that way it does the thing. Okay, so it doesn't know how to deal with stirs, so we can to owned it. Yeah, so here's this Auth0 state. Oh, did I ask for it to be the wrong thing? Get cookie is this key. I'm calling it for the wrong thing, aren't I? Yeah. We stored it previously as this Auth0 state. Oops. Okay, that should hopefully make it work. All right, so then you are Auth0 state coming in. Auth0 state. Okay, great. Then okay, so get cookie. I want to do this. Okay, so you're gonna go back to here, and we are going to return key pair. Starts with our pattern is going to be a, let's just say key. Now, split cookies is not going to be able to be logged? No, it is. Eternal Wild Fox, hello. There we go. And so now we found this one. So now I want to, oh, then I can just split this on the equals. I can either split this on the equals and then take the second one, or I could splice and like get only like that second part based upon the length of the key plus the equals sign. What we're working on. So today I'm working on integrating Auth0, which is an authentication sort of like SaaS product, into a U.RS with Rust application. So this is a web app. This is what I've got right now. I'm trying to handle this auth callback here. So when I hit sign up, I go out, I sign in, it sends me back here. I now have like an access token for this session. I've got some other stuff. What I need to do is take this state. So I basically, I generated a random string. It's like 43 characters long. And I sent it with the request out. And they send that back to me, and I can use that to make sure that it's really, this is really in response to the request I sent out. And so I stored it in a cookie because it's a full page refresh, essentially. Now I'm trying to get it back out of a cookie so I can compare it to the state we got. Okay, so I'm able to get this specific cookie out. Now I want to get the value out of that. And so I have the full list of cookies here that I get off the document object. Oh, and in case you're not familiar, U.RS is a front-end framework where you write Rust code. So if you're familiar with Rust, then it's basically just WebAssembly. It's very similar to React, but it's all Rust. And a lot of the stuff that we do in here is sort of like JSX, HTML, CSS. All of that stuff can go into the Rust files, which is really nice. Yeah, so you chain a map and a slice. Let's see. So we get off of here an option. Yeah, an option is probably a good idea. So we can map the option, which then we're going to get this only if it exists. So then this is going to be the, this is still the key value, the key value pair. But we know it's the right one. Okay, so then I want to slice this at the keys spot. So key value. So there's no slice. There's a split. Oh, it's split at. Split once. Okay, I can split at. Oh, I can just do key value. Oh, you mean like a manual slice like that? Oh, I don't even think about that usually. Yeah, we can do that. So we just say we want a slice of key value at, and then the position is going to be the key dot length. That should be it because it's already going to be +1 because it's 0 indexed. So that should be fine. This now gives us an option. So with the stir as index, oh, do I need to collect you? Oh yeah, we could do that too. No, I can't. Not there. Stir cannot be indexed by usize. Oh, because length gives you a usize, but you cannot be indexed by that. Interesting. Type annotations needed. Oh, interesting. Okay, key.length is a range. Oh, See, I so rarely delve into this side of algorithms, especially in Rust. So yeah, let's try that. Okay, so index away. Now you are happy. Okay, so we're back to here. So we have a split cookies, option stir. I can goo console log you, which is not exactly what I want. Look at that. We include the equals on this. So I want this to be a +1. There we go. So now I have you, which means that we're returning this option string here. Now I have an option stir. It would be great to turn this into an actual string, but I'm just going to do another dot map to do that. So we're going to say this is going to be my value. I guess it's still like this is this is actually the value, and I want to value dot to owned it. That should give me an option string, and then we are going to return the split cookies, which I can just return up here. I don't need this none. Well, if I don't need that none, then I also don't need to do this. Just don't take the semicolon. And I return out of here to the outside of the match, which then returns out to here. Okay. So then you should be happy. Okay. No errors. So now we go back into here where we're getting the cookie. So give me the cookie labeled Auth0 state. And so here I have this the state from the cookie, which we don't actually know if we're going to have, right? Because there's a possibility that somebody just calls this route and tries to say like, no, I've totally logged in. Here is a forged state. Okay, so put some cookie. Okay, so we get the state from the cookie. We also have our key value pair from URL form, URL encoded. Can I match on that? Like, is it possible for me to match URL, one URL component, parse, params, as bytes? No. Okay, you're an iterator, aren't you? Your build is still going. It might be a while. The local VM might not have the memory errors, but you should really have given it more resources. Oh, yeah. And are you doing a release build? Because that's even more time. Oh, okay. So it's not yelling at this, but type parse is not empty. Okay, so it doesn't know how to like do this. Okay, so a match is not correct. I might want to do a find here for the state. Okay, so if we have params, so if we have these URL parameters, yeah, then you have to build it again because you made a mistake. Yeah, it's the sucky thing about slow feedback is that like it's just so much time between each attempt and run through. Like we already complain about long compile times in Rust in general, and that's before we don't throw, you know, a lack of resources or release mode in. Okay, let's. Okay, so what's the point? I want to. So given that we have the URL. Okay, given that we have this, like the fragment. Okay, so we get the fragment, which is everything after this hash, which I'm sorry if you can't see it. It's super small. So then I want to get the state out of that, or I really wanted to break that out into like a hash map. So that might be down here. So let's do that. Let's function. I guess it's gonna be parse URL params. So we'll take I can take these params, which is this stir, and we're going to return a hash map with, I guess we'll have a string and a string as our key values. All right, so let mute our result. Okay, so I'll create a new one. We'll return the result down here. In the meantime, we then do this. So we'll get the key and a value outside of you, so your cow stirs. I don't need to get the cookie yet. We can get the cookie later. But right now I want to store this into the hash map. So we're going to say result dot insert key and value. Now your cow stirs. I haven't worked with cows very much yet. Can I actually get the string out? I can get toString. And then we return the result here. Okay, great. Okay, so if let some params, we're going to get let our these are like the hashed params. So now we have a hash map of string. Okay, great. What's next? I want to get the state out of this, and I want to compare the state. So like, does the state work with this? So compare, like, I guess, does the state match? Compare state with cookie. We will take in this hash map. So these are the params, which now is going to be this hash map. It's going to be a reference to a hash map. And we'll return just a Boolean, whether or not, hey, you compare or you don't. Okay, so our first thing here is now to get the state out of the cookie. So if let now when we call this is back from the nav bar. We set cookie and we name it this Auth0 state. Okay, so we have this if let sum cookie state. Okay, so now we have access to this cookie state. That's great. Now I want to get the and really I can exit this out of here. So I can just say let cookie state equals. Now, so if you are here, we're returning a cookie state. Otherwise, we're going to return false. Because if we didn't set a cookie for this, then, well, clearly that's a problem. Okay, great. So we get the cookie state. Next, I need to get the param state. I think it's all lowercase here. Now I have those two, I can compare them together. So we can just return cookie state is equal to param state. Okay, so we get the params, and then we're going to if compare state with cookie, pass it a reference to the params. So if this is true, then state is good. We can log in now. Otherwise, we're not good. We didn't log in. So we can't trust. So let's head back to the landing page in a non-logged in state. So I actually want to, for this computer, if somebody attempts to log in like this, I'm almost thinking that I want to clear my cookie too. Just so it can only happen like once. Oh, but okay, like set cookies is set all the cookies, I think. No, okay. I know how it works. So we do pub function. We set a cookie with a value with an empty string. I think that's what it is. We just do set cookie. So we do set cookie. The key is this Auth0 state, and the value is just an empty string. Then the next thing is I want to navigate back to slash. Now that location equals use location. We are inside the router, so we should be fine. So we have, okay, so we have our location, which is any location, and I can now do location dot it's not search. Is it not use location? It's use something. Or do I have to tell it which one to use? I forget. Oh, do I want use history instead of use location? Right, I think I want to do a use history so I can get the history and then I can history push. That's what I want to do. I don't want a location. I want a use history. That gives me this history here. And then we're going to push some routes. So import, create route, and I want to go home. Sorry, I wanted to do this one, not the other one. Okay, you should be relatively happy now. Okay, so when I hit sign up, so that took me here because the cookie wasn't the same state. Oh, but that didn't delete the cookie. For some reason, I thought setting the cookie to an empty value would actually delete the cookie. That didn't do it. So again, cookie, I want to delete a cookie. The remove methods of the cookies API deletes a cookie given its name and URL. Ah, okay. I don't know if I even need a return for this. You haven't seen any way to call that browser cookies API? Yes, I'm wondering if I do. So cookie gives me a result string JS value. And then we have set cookie. That's it. Like where does this come from? Just JavaScript API cookies? Oh, wait a second. This is under browser extensions. Okay, hold on. I want to be in web APIs. Yeah. I was okay. Google or I guess like technically DuckDuckGo sent me into a weird place. Okay, so right, new cookie. I don't know, maybe. Let's take a look at this cookie again. So this one that I created, it's an empty value. Oh, look at that. Path is slash here, and this path is slash auth. Oh, that's our problem. Oh, fascinating. Can I tell it to be the other path? Really fascinating here. Okay. I should be able to set the path when I create it. Okay. Let's come back up to here. So syntax. Path equals path. Okay. I wonder when I set this if I want to take in an optional path, which would be a option with a stir. So we do a cookie string format. Okay, so we got same site, strict, secure. path equals path. Maybe it's not optional. Maybe we just set that. And then I don't need this delete cookie. So we just make sure it's this exact same path here. So in navbar, when we set the cookie, we also have our path, which is going to be just, let's just do slash. And auth callback set cookie value and path is slash. Okay, so we do have this path here and this other one. So this one should be gone by the end of this. It just set it to an empty value. It also didn't remove it from here. Expires on a session. Does it not get auto-deleted? I always thought they would get auto-deleted after after they expired or after I set it to like an empty value. I'm kind of curious now. So if I do document.cookie, document.cookie equals Auth0 state equals, oh, is it like that? Where I just delete it like that? You don't even have like an empty string. Because then I can just do secure same site true path equals so if I did that back to you, you're still here. So there's this cookies removed, but this is in web extensions. That's not what I want. Oh, I see. Okay, hold on. There is a delete in here. You can delete a cookie by updating its expiration time to 0. So I need to add in how long the cookie will exist. I'm probably going to want something like max age. Where is that? I saw like the max age in seconds, but wasn't. Is that actually? Oh, okay. Max age, and then max age in seconds. Or I can give expires and then an actual date. I think max age is fine. So yeah, we would set the max age to 0. Okay, so I need the path and then also a max age. So like essentially a time to live. This is gonna be a U32. And then, okay, we have our path. And then a max age equals TTL. Uncle Scientist, hello! Happy Friday. Okay. So then I can set the cookie, and I set all of this stuff, and then specifically its TTL is being set to 0. So back to you. Okay, so in navbar, we have our max age. Now, in this case, I'm sending you directly out to go to Auth0, and then I want you to come back. So I don't want to give you very much time to do the login. So I'm thinking, here, you have 1 minute to do your login. So it's that in seconds. Auth callback, I want to delete this cookie. So 0. The penalty of somebody using your browser to try to log in with a invalid cookie or an invalid state is to delete your cookie that has the state in it. Okay, so now if I come back to here again, so we have all of these. The one at slash went away. So let's delete all these cookies again. Okay, now the fact that I'm coming straight back here does mean that it is failing. Cookie Auth0 state with the same site attribute value lax or strict was omitted because of a cross-site redirect. I think that's fine. Like, I don't want it to actually go out and be sent. But okay, so in our callback, we compare the state with the cookie, which means that we're getting to here. So our compare state with cookie, this is returning a false. So either because I can't find it, or because it's like one of these three places it's failing. So let's do a little bit of debugging here. So we'll do a cookie. Guess we'll just say this is could not find cookie. If we get to here, and actually, I guess what I really want is, let's just turn this into a log. Okay, so could not find state in params to and then here is, if we don't get either of those error messages, then this means that we can't trust this login. So in this case, it's going to be cannot trust login, states don't match. Okay, let's try it and see what we got. Cannot trust login, states don't match. Okay. So we got all the way past here and we got to this point. So let's find out what we have. So glue console log. I want cookie state and param state. Oh yeah, they're different. Why are they different? Am I setting the cookie multiple times? So when we have the nav bar, so when we head out, I create a random state, and then we set the cookie. So we say, okay, cookie, go in. That's on this click, which we do an event prevent default on it. We set the cookie, and then we say, okay, go to the login URI. So like navigate us to Auth0, and the login URI. So I create a state here, and I create another state here because, you know, reasons. Login URI. Okay, so I pass the state in here. I completely shadow this state. Well, that's the reason why they're not the same. There we go. Now they're the same. Now the states are the same. Okay, so now that I have the states are the same, to log us in, I want to now I could store the token away. Before I like really trust that we're logged in, I want us to do another call and utilize the token that we get to get the user profile, because that's going to be the real test. If this profile is good, that's the only way I can actually truly trust it, is just to try to use it. So this is like the fast way of just saying like, hey, are you right or wrong? But then after that, it's like, okay, I got a profile, let's go get that, which will then allow us to have like more user information. So in our auth callback, we have all this stuff in here. So now next up, I want to, so the state is good. We can log in now. So really, I want to do a function, and really I want this to be an async function, get user profile. So I'm going to take in a reference to the params. So this is like auth params. And it's going to be something that I give back. Not exactly sure what yet. Oh, auth params is going to be hash map. The string. I'm starting to think that I might want to create a completely different struct for auth that might have some of these methods in it, but more importantly would have the state inside of it. So things that we're building out. I mean, maybe we can do a hash map for that, but it might be better to say like, okay, we're going to have like the state, we're going to have the token, we're going to have other things in it, probably as options. Because then the next thing here that I want to do is this async await query out. So with the authentication API, I can use it to check user. Okay, I want to get user info. Given the Auth0 access token obtained during login, this endpoint returns a user's profile. I did request OpenID, and so we should be fine. And we have to have this access token here. And we'll just get a bunch of stuff. Gives a lot of things that I don't necessarily want to have access to on here. So I'll have to see whether or not it actually gives. It shouldn't actually have my information because for this user, I didn't give it most of it. So it should be a lot less. But okay. I'll have to like pare that down and remove it from the response if it actually does have it. We'll have to see. So it's gonna be a GET request and user info. Kind of want to try this out in a shell really quickly on the side just to sort of see what I'm gonna get. Okay, so it's gonna be curl request get URL. Okay, so that's gonna be my domain. So I have to grab that from Auth0. Okay, so grab my domain. Okay, so to user info, header, authorization bearer, and then my access token, which I got out of here. You know what? I'm actually just going to copy this entire thing off to another window so I can pull it out. So access token. Okay, to that. And then header content type, application JSON. Okay, great. So I send this off. Okay, so I get my Auth0 user ID, my nickname, name. Interesting. So my name is my email address right now. Okay, so I got a gravatar. Also email verified false because I didn't verify it. Oh yeah, I totally forgot. We set up the Hasura claims too. So I get the Hasura IO.claims for that. XSR allowed roles user. XSR user ID. Okay, so is that same user ID? Okay, great. So like none of like there's no the only thing in here is just email address. Which is the same email address I'm using on Git, and like that all that stuff is exposed. Like Git exposes all those things, and everybody can go and take a look at those. So that's less of a problem. Okay, so I can do this request here. All right, so we're gonna use glue net HTTP request. Okay, so this is a get URL. I have URL in the .env file, which I then need to use with this load.env. Oh man, running out of time already? Okay, so I load.env and then so we can get let 0 domain equals I think it's done just like normal. env and then what is my okay, my Auth0 domain. Okay, so that's that one. So then we're gonna go to /user info. Okay, so that's the URL. So I'm gonna do Auth0 domain /user info. Then we're gonna set a header. Okay, so we're gonna set 2 headers on this. So I could do headers. I think I can do this twice here. So key is gonna be authorization. And okay, so the value is gonna be bearer and this thing. So bearer space and then this thing. And so I want you to be auth params. Oh, but then I need to get the bearer. Oh, I need to get it out of it. So yeah, I'm really thinking that I want to turn this into like an entire like Auth0 struct and have it somewhere else. Maybe like eventually we can maybe even like pull it out of the project and have it be an external crate too. That might be helpful. So we would do like if let some. This is going to be the token equals auth params get. What did we call this? You're called whatever your thing is here. Access underscore token. Okay, so if we have a token, then we're going to do all of this stuff in here. Actually, you know what? If we don't, I don't even want to do these things. So I might want to do the pattern where I just say that access token equals to you. I want to take the token and to owned it here. Otherwise, I want to do I want to return like a result and just say like failure because the token doesn't exist? Log error, cannot get user profile because the token doesn't exist. And I have to panic right here. So yeah, I'm just like more and more I'm thinking I want to break this out into its own sort of like little module. And just like all the authentication stuff into its own module. I think that's gonna be best. Okay. So let's see, Auth0 domain. So domain. Okay, so we have that. That goes this. Okay, so URL authentication. So we get all these things. Right. So authentication header is now going to be this access token, which means I don't need you. And our value is going to be this authorization header. Okay. Then we do another header, and then this one's going to be content type. Application JSON. Okay. Now it's going to come back as a string, but okay. So then we send await unwrap from here. So it should be okay at this point. Like what do we have at this point? I have a response. Because then if I want to do like response body or something like that, something like dot. Body gives me a readable string. As raws, not necessarily. JSON gives me like a JSON object. Text, okay, gives me just like the raw text. I don't know if that would work or not. And then await. Sure, let's unwrap. What can possibly go wrong here? And then we'll glue console log the result. Okay, so this is now going to be inside of here. State is good, so we can now log in now. I need to do a wasm-bindgen. I need wasm-bindgen. I need to use the feature that allows me to use the futures for it. Which I forget what that feature is. So what is this? This is platform web. I want a cargo add wasm-bindgen. So if I just do that, I want to see what my list of features are. So enable and turning serde serialize serde JSON strict macro. Huh. Oh, I think there's like a wasm-bindgen futures crate. I think that's what I want. wasm-bindgen futures. This is what I want. There's a use async, which might also be interesting, which we can look into. For right now, I don't have the use hooks set up. So if I do a cargo add you, So okay, so this might just work as it is. We'll see. And then back to you. So I want to do wasm bind gen futures spawn local. This is now an async block. So async, I have to move, I think, the params in. I probably, yeah. Just like more and more reasons why I want to pull this out into something else. Because it's an async block, I wonder if I can actually do this or if it's going to yell at me because it's essentially going into a promise, which is on the same thread. So it's not really multi-threading things, but this might confuse the borrow checker a lot. So, but once I'm in here, I can now say to get the user profile here. So that user profile equals get user profile, and I want to pass in a reference to params. But you're going to tell me I can't do that. Oh, sorry. Hashed params. Cannot move out of a shared reference. Okay, so that's oh, why do I have that there? It's odd. It borrows hash params, which is owned by the current function. Async blocks are not executed. Okay, yeah. So I borrowed it. I cannot do that. I need to force it to take ownership of it. So I need to do a move. So an async move. But if I do that, that means I need to take a auth params equals hashed params. We're going to clone you. And now I can just give ownership of you to auth params, like that, and you down here take ownership. So really, the best thing would be to put this into its own struct. So that way I can then very easily just pass in the string, because then I can just clone that very, very easily. As it's, you don't miss dealing with WASM features. You might have to revisit your old WASM project one day. I know. There's a use async hook which I want to try out, which might make this part a lot easier. But okay, so if I do this, I'm not like turning this into JSON yet. I might do my big refactor before I end up doing that. But I just want to see whether or not we get anything at all, like, and print it out. So if I hit sign up, I come back to here and it doesn't make the request out. Do I see it attempting? I don't even see it making the attempt to go out. I also don't see a crash and an error. So it's like none of these unwraps kill it. Is it frozen somewhere? Like, the interface is usable. So get user profile. I guess like one thing we can do is oh, I didn't await the feature. Await the feature. So get user profile dot await. Thank you very much for that. That's probably exact. What is? Knup. Is this my index.html? This is my index.html. Yep, title Brooks Builds. Cool. Mel, nice, you're not the only one who forgets that. I find that it's a lot easier for me to forget in Rust than it is in JavaScript. I don't know why. It just feels, I think it's because the async comes first. Whereas the await comes first, and then the await in Rust comes last. And I just constantly forget it because I get excited about running it. Okay, so I did my user info request out. Either time I got nothing back. My response back is HTML. That's not correct. What was my request to? Oh, I went to localhost. Look at that. I went to localhost. Okay, well that's not correct. Yeah, luckily it warns us about unused features in this case. But still, not in the browser. It probably warns us in the editor. Okay, so, well, this is not fun. I did not get the domain. From here. So I get my Auth0 domain, which then I'm trying to use in this place, which then, okay, so this got undefined because it couldn't find it. Which is probably the same thing because it's running at runtime. It's running at runtime. Okay, so what I mean by that, the big problem that we're running into here is that because this is async await, at runtime, I'm saying, hey, give me the environment, give me the contents of the environment variable auth0 domain. Great, okay, normal. However, because I'm executing this function not at compile time, but at runtime, it then says, okay, give me this environment variable. It then asks the browser, hey, can you give me this environment variable? And the browser's like, what? No, you're not allowed to access that. Fine, here, undefined. You don't get anything. And then my app goes happily along and says, okay, here you go. Undefined user info, which then undefined really just becomes localhost because it's nothing. It's, it's empty. It's nada, it's void, null. And so I happily, because it's nothing, it becomes localhost. That's why we're setting it to ourselves. That's why I'm getting index.html back, because it's basically sending a request to myself, and then my router is saying, I don't know what this is. I guess you'll go to index.html and let the front end router handle it. And front end router is like, huh, I don't know what this is. You get the 404 page. So fun things. That being said, it's after 8:30, so I don't really have time anymore to work on this. So what I'm going to do is going to add in a note for myself. User logged in automatically after signing up. This is like a big thing, but our steps. So we've actually done this. What we need to do now is we need to rewrite the authentication into its own struct, where it loads state like domain at compile time and has access to it at runtime. So that is what we're going to be looking forward to next week. So it is Friday. I do have a day job, so that does mean that I can't just do this all day, unfortunately. And I have some meetings coming up pretty shortly, so I have to go prepare for them. I am off on Saturdays. Take the time to go bike ride and do other fun stuff with the family. But on Sunday we're going to be back. We're not going to be programming in web stuff. We're going to be programming for Screeps. We're going to do Screeps Arena in Rust and WebAssembly. And so we just finished the tutorial on that one. So we're hoping to maybe like get back in and see if we can like win a battle. I don't know. We'll find out. That's usually a longer stream. And then Monday morning at 7 a.m. we'll be back working on this project. So with that, have a great rest of your day. Have a great weekend. And I'll see you next time, whenever that is. Bye.